Honestly, since I was a kid, I think, a bit of my background is I started in radio
Hmm.
when I was sort of like younger, and that was always a passion of mine. And something that wanted, something that I'll probably get a little bit emotional about, and you'll understand why in a second. But when I was a kid, we had some family stuff happen. It was like very tragic loss, and it affected my mum, who I like lost recently. So like my mum passed away a couple of weeks ago. So this is sort of like hitting real hard in the core. But when I was a kid, my mum used to take me to school every day. And after, her sister passed away, it was really sort of like really a heavy couple of years in our family. And I think that one of the only times that I would see like mum smile and like mum be truly happy, not truly happy because she was happy, but when you're dealing with all of that sort of stuff, like to get true joy, it's hard to find in times of grief, and grief is so hard. So I would drive to school with mum, and she would laugh and she would smile over stories on the radio. And it was just like so genuine, and she wasn't sort of like pushing through just to smile for us kids so that like we didn't know that she was sort of like going through grief and going through a lot of things. So that sort of like really made me want to be on radio, because like all I wanted to do was make my mum happy, make my mum proud, and I saw what that sort of like medium could do. And also too, when I was growing up, like she always, I'll credit my mum especially, but my mum and my dad sort of, always enabled and like facilitated me being creative. So, they got me radio DJs and things that allowed me to broadcast within like a certain kilometer radius, and took me to community radio and stuff like that. But also too, with the visual aspect of my creativity, which is like photo and video, they were always buying me cameras, and I was always that kid that was filming Christmas and stuff like that. So, I think that definitely that aspect of, seeing how happy these sort of forms of creativity made my mum, made me like really fall in love with it. And then obviously having sort of a natural sort of tact for, being able to take a photo and stuff like that. But really, when you think about it, and it all just comes down to it, is just how impactful that is on the human sort of psyche and the human brain and sort of human emotion as well. And also too, for me, like I feel like I'm such an emotional guy. With me, like one minute I'll be laughing and we'll be getting coffee, and the next minute I'll be crying over a dog that I saw on the street. And I'm very like happy to be that guy, because I think that like, especially as men, you don't talk about your emotions as much, but being able to have a creative outlet that I can express my emotions, which might sound weird to a lot of people, but a lot of people go, oh, I go to a therapist to talk about things. Whereas like me, I will sort of invest, and this is where photography comes into it. I'll invest a lot of my emotion into that, and sort of like you'll be able to scroll through my Instagram and sort of get a vibe for where I'm at, sort of like physically, emotionally, all that sort of stuff by the mood of my photos. Like honestly, everything I take is sort of like a blueprint to sort of like how I'm feeling that month or that day or whatever. So if it's a little bit darker, I'm probably like a little bit more in the seasonal sad kind of thing. And then like the bright, and I don't know if this is sort of like resonating with you or making sense, but sort of that sort
Hmm.
of, yeah, where it stands and sort of how it is.